Hello guys, today we are here with another Demon Slayer recap, and this time we will uncover a new arc that comprises Season 4 of this fan-favorite anime. So let us start off with two Demon Slayers, Wind Hashira Sanami Shinezugawa and Serpent Hashira Obanai Eguro, who were exploring an abandoned castle in a secluded forest where the people had mysteriously vanished, and despite conducting a thorough search of the area, and they had discovered nothing. However, they notice a lost woman being carried by a demon as they survey the castle. The cunning demon laments not murdering the demon slayers sooner after realizing he is being watched. The group steps then inside the demon-infested fortress. While on the other hand, the smaller demon slayers have difficulty repelling the demons, while the Hashira do so with ease. They are ordered to retreat by Obanai, and even though they beg to stay, Sanemi brushes them off as nothing but a distraction and makes them leave the area. We move on to see the Wind Hashira Sanemi Shinezugawa and Serpent Hashira Obanai Eguro continuing their quest to free a woman who has been abducted and drive out a swarm of demonic creatures. With extraordinary skills, the Hashiras rapidly defeat the demons, displaying their formidable attributes, but they notice something strange about the huge quantity of demons assembling. Not letting it hinder their motive, the Hashiras pursue the kidnapping demon. When he tries to run away, eventually taking them inside an imaginary palace that is home to even more deadly demons. Kanao Tsuyuri, meantime, makes her way back to the Butterfly Mansion and discovers the importance of Nezuko's immunity to sunlight as well as the fallout from recent fights, while the Hashira that remain behind debate the impending threats and the significance of awakening specific marks that could provide the man advantage over the demons during an emergency meeting that was called. The situation becomes even more dire when they learn about Kagaya Yubiashiki's failing health. Meanwhile, Tanjiro and his companions heal from their wounds as Zenitsu, Inosuke, and others get ready for the demanding Hashira training in anticipation of a big fight. Retired Hashira Tengen Uzui starts training new Demon Slayer recruits, stressing the importance of intense training. In this arc, each Hashira will be in charge of a distinct training phase, as they all agree to prepare the Demon Slayer Corps for the upcoming fights and knowing about the dangers they could face in the future. Kagaya Ubiashiki writes a heartfelt letter to Tanjiro and begs him to take part in the training. Somewhere deep in her studies, a demon with expertise in demon physiology named Tameo gets an invitation to join the Demon Slayer Corps and support their fight against Muzan Kibutsuji. We see that even before Tameo is approached with an invitation, Yushiro gets a premonition and tells her right away. A little while later, Tameo receives an invitation to join the Demon Slayer Corps from a crow that belongs to none other than Kagaya Ubiashiki, the group's leader. The Ubiashikis think that by researching Nezuko, a demon immune to sunlight, Tameo's knowledge of the core, combined with that of another young woman, may be able to aid in their mission of destroying Muzan. Tameo accepts the offer, despite her initial shock, and decides to move to the Demon Slayer Corps headquarters, indicating that something big is about to happen. Although Yushiro is taken aback by her choice, he nevertheless offers to assist since he recognizes that this is a unique option for them. On the other hand, Tanjiro receives a letter from Kagaya as well, in which he informs about his own condition and stresses the importance of the Demon Slayer Corps being together. Kagaya requests that Tanjiro communicate with Giwu, the Water Hashira, on his behalf. Ready to grant this request, Tanjiro gets ready to see Giyu when he runs across Aoi on his way out, who gives him some guidance and a bag of onigiri for the gathering. Upon reaching Giyu's house, Tanjiro discovers that the Hashira is seated inside and doesn't appear to be aware of him until he hears him. Giyu rudely declines Tanjiro's invitation to accompany him because he is already aware of the Hashira training. When Tanjiro wonders why Giyu appears upset, Giyu expresses his annoyance that Tanjiro hasn't gotten the hang of water breathing, which he feels if he had would have made Tanjiro the next Water Hashira. To squash this hostility, Tanjiro apologizes to Giyu, explaining that Sakonji Urokodaki, his previous guru, had informed him that it's typical to create new techniques from fundamental styles like water breathing. But Giyu is adamant that Tanjiro is destined to become the Water Hashira and tells Tanjiro to go, but Tanjiro tries to speak with him nevertheless since he recalls Kagaya's wish. In the hopes that eating would soothe Giyu, Tanjiro offers him onigiri, but at first, Giyu ignores him. Tanjiro nevertheless follows Giyu about, attempting to interact with him and pose inquiries. In the end, Giyu admits that he failed the final selection, the need to become a demon slayer. He shares a story about a boy named Sabito, who, like Tanjiro, lost his family to demons. Gyu describes Sabito as a kind boy with a strong sense of justice, and this revelation sheds light on Gyu's past and his reluctance to accept the renowned title of Water Hashira. Gyu recalls the tragic tale of Sabito, his friend who vanished during final selection despite having vanquished many demons and so saved practically every applicant. After being spared by Sabito, Gyu suffers from remorse, thinking he isn't deserving of the title of Water Hashira since he didn't vanquish a single demon. Moved by Gyu's story, Tanjiro tries to console him. He challenges Gyu to fight in remembrance of Sabito and his sister, two individuals who supported him and believed in him. Moved by Tanjiro's remarks, Gyu remembers a terrible incident in which Sabito smacked him and told him to live, not to defame the sacrifices made for him. This memory helps Gyu confront his feelings and apologize for his previous attitude. Tanjiro, worried that he might have upset Gyu further, suggests a soba eating contest to lighten the mood and encourage Gyu to join Hashira training. Gyu eventually agrees to train and reflects on the Hashira training program, particularly Shinobu's role. Meanwhile, Shinobu, struggling with her own emotions, prepares to share her plan to defeat the demon who killed her sister Kanae with Kanao, her Chiguko. Moving on, a former Hashira, Tengen Uzui guides a group of trainees through rigorous training in the mountains, stressing the importance of developing fitness and stamina prior to progressing to more difficult levels. He pushes them hard, demanding more effort with a shine eye, and threatens to cut them off if they don't get better. When Tanjiro shows up, he gives Tengen a hug and pledges to give the training his all. Tanjiro demonstrates remarkable physical prowess in every activity, leaving his fellow trainees in awe. When he reunites with Tengen's wife during a break, they thank him for their past mission. Meanwhile, Tengen is still pressuring the trainees, even threatening to assign more difficult workouts if they don't finish their meals. Later that evening, two demon slayers talk about how the demon activity has decreased and make assumptions regarding the demon's possible pursuit of Nezuko. One of the slayers finds himself alone and terrified in the dark when he suddenly realizes his partner has vanished, but it turns out to be a prank orchestrated to not take demons lightly. But just then the first Hashira catches them and scolds them to not horse around. The trainees continue to train and every workout is a breeze for Tanjiro, who amazes everyone with his endurance. His reconnection with Tengen's wives reveals a tough yet kind Tengen. Gyu also agrees to join Hashira training provided Tanjiro prevails in their soba eating competition. Sanemi and Obanai, in the meantime, talk about a decline in demon activity and worry that it indicates a serious threat. They concentrate on training despite their worries. Tanjiro assists Tengen's ladies and is thanked by them after a tiring day. They thank him for his part in Yoshiwara and wish him luck in taking down Muzan, something Tanjiro promises to do. However, Tengen offers a new drill as the sun sets, fending off a mock demon onslaught in the mountains. To demonstrate this, Tengen confronts the trainees and effortlessly defeats them. Entrusted with taking down Tengen, Tanjiro holds his own throughout the fierce battle. In the end, after the harsh session, Tengen gives the trainees feedback and acknowledges their progress, which motivates them to put in more effort. He lets Tanjiro go so he can go to the next training location, who then discovers Muichiro instructing a trainee there, being unforgiving and emphasizing the value of retaliating. A trainee receives a reprimand from Muichiro for being ill-prepared, and Muichiro shows him the deadly results of his carelessness by toppling him. He surprises Tanjiro by giving him a warm greeting. Meanwhile, Muichiro's crow teases the trainees outside. Kozo Kanamori, the swordsmith who would look after Muichiro's katana, is introduced to Tanjiro. According to Muichiro, Kagaya always puts his Hashira's needs first, a trait Muichiro finds admirable. Muichiro chastises a student for his emotional assault during training and emphasizes the need for precise, well-thought-out movements in order to live. Tanjiro and the others talk about how severe Muichiro can be, and they wonder why he leaves every night, as they have no idea that the Baiwa demon is observing Muichiro by using her cunning eyes to track his movements. When Muichiro goes to a shrine, Sanemi and Obanai are fighting there. Their rigorous training impresses Muichiro, who requests to accompany them. Observing Muichiro's commitment, Sanemi concurs, and the two Hashira choose to spar with him jointly. Muichiro holds his own despite being outnumbered, demonstrating his proficiency in misbreathing. The courtyard is in ruins after the fierce sparring session. After that, Sanemi and Obanai talk about how challenging their training is and how it gets them ready for actual combat. When Muichiro sees that the students are not prepared for battle, he gives them severe criticism during training the following day. The trainees become anxious when he gives the order to use real swords. Overwhelmed, one student apologizes to Muichiro and acknowledges that he is afraid of actual fighting. Muichiro notes his development and shows worry for their security, highlighting the fact that training is about survival as much as advancement. For the next 3 days, Muichiro spars with Tanjiro, admiring his growth. Tanjiro gains more stamina by following Muichiro's instructions to improve his muscle motions. Surprisingly, Muichiro says that Tanjiro is prepared to go on to the next Hashira after Tanjiro delivers a strong strike to his Bokuto. Feeling left behind, the other trainees ask if they can go forward as well, but Muichiro dismisses them with a chilly smile because they haven't improved. Tanjiro suggests holding a paper airplane competition to lighten the atmosphere. Even though Tanjiro loses every round, the challenge makes the trainees happier, and they all work together to construct planes. Even Muichiro cracks a small smile at this sight. Later that day, Tanjiro and Muichiro talk about Muzan's possible threat, focusing on Nezuko in particular because of her resistance to sunlight, which is the main goal that Muzan is after. Knowing that Nezuko is in the capable hands of former water Hashira Sakanji Urokodaki, Tanjiro seems to have a sense of comfort, and along with that Muichiro swears that with all of them united, they will vanquish Muzan. On the other hand, at the next Hashira's mansion, Mitsuri Kanroji welcomes Tanjiro with open arms and enthusiastically cooks him a tasty-looking Western-style dinner, introducing him to pancakes and honey. So that's it for part 1, guys. Stay tuned for the next exciting recap of Demon Slayer Season 4.